There is a horrifying custom in the remote and impoverished areas of Somalia. They think women's lower body is dirty, so when the girls in the family grow up to the age of 3, they must undergo a special ceremony of the tribe. On that day, the mother will carry her daughter to a deserted mountain. Then the elders of the tribe will perform the operation. She will use a rusty blade to take away the girl's female characteristics without disinfection and any anesthesia. Finally, the girl will be thrown into the rubble for a day. If she is not killed by the pain before dark, then she can be taken home to continue to be raised. Walasai is the child who survived this cruel ceremony. She thought that her pain would only be experienced once when she was 3 years old, but when she got her first period at the age of 12, her ordeal had just begun.
Way fiican tahay taas. Waxay muujinaysaa in aad weynaatay waa naag noqotay.
On the first day after her period, her father sold her to a nomadic old man next door, but what she got back for her family were only 5 skinny camels. Facing her mother's helplessness, Walasai was unwilling to marry an old man. So that night, she secretly said goodbye to her brother and fled from here. That night, Walasai ran for an unknown period of time. She didn't dare to stop until dawn. She lost her straw sandals and her feet were worn out, and she could only eat the plants on the roadside to fill her stomach. A few days later, Walasai finally came to the city after going through hardships. She found out her grandmother's home with limited information. Grandma felt very distressed to see her like this, but she was helpless because of the opposition of her family. In order to let her granddaughter survive, Grandma could only apply for a passport for her. Then she used her connections to secretly send her to England to work as a maid. The moment the plane took off, Walasai's miserable childhood was hidden in her heart. During her time as a maid in the UK, Walasai spent her youth in the basement except for being ordered in cleaning every day. This seemingly stable life lasted for 6 years. Until this day, a report in the news broke his peace again. Because war broke out in his hometown of Somalia, all of them who were abroad had to be repatriated. This news was a bolt from the blue for Walasai. She didn't want to go back to that dirty hometown. In order to survive, she had no choice but to run away again. But facing this country where she couldn't speak the language, she didn't know if she could survive. Walasai could only fill her stomach by picking up garbage every day. This went on for a long time, until one day when Walasai was taking a rest in the toilet, she met a woman.
Jesus! Fucking Nora!
Mary was obviously very resistant to Walasai's face. She was angry and wanted to call the police to arrest Walasai, but Walasai couldn't understand her roar at all. She could only try to reply in the only English she knew.
Today is your lucky day. Is it?
And it was this kind reply that made the already irritable Mary feel inexplicably fond of her. She could see that Walasai was really pitiful and had nowhere to go, so Mary decided to take her in for one night. What Walasai didn't know was that Mary's appearance would become an important turning point in her life.